decided that that this summer I learned a lot about social media and its effects on our students, and also the effects on the research that the students come up with for debates and papers and original oratories, anything that you might need to have some unbiased research. And so I've titled this Cookies, Cakes, and Curly Fries, the echo chambers and filter bubbles. And if echo chambers and filter bubbles are not familiar to you, I hope to teach you about that today, and listen for how cookies, cakes, and curly fries come into all of this social media stuff. Now, I have combined some of my research with some of Charlotte Tyree's research. She didn't want to actually come on live and join me and teach you about some of this stuff, so I'm going to give credit to Charlotte Tyree. We were both in this remote class this summer about social media to keep our ability to keep teaching dual credit speech communications at our high schools. So we had a lot of fun together, but we learned a lot. So I wanted to share that with you today and give you a resource. You might have seen already the handout that I placed with this link, so that you can have something maybe to hand out to your students. But you'll want to change. I think I used the word Canterbury School in there somewhere, and you might want to change it to your school. So anyway, I want to talk to you about how big data and how it collects information from your students' social media websites affects their research. You may not have known this. I didn't know this. And the students are probably not that aware about how big data is using their information through their social media and their searches on Google to affect their searches. So here we go. All right. First of all, we had this wonderful book in class, and most of the information that I'm taking is from this book, and I'd be glad to send anyone a copy of our bibliography. It's about 20 sources long if you want a copy of the bibliography of all this information. But I've kind of condensed everything in this little short presentation. The author of the book stated that not only the biographical information that we voluntarily put on our social media websites, like pictures of our children and how many children we have, maybe our birthday. Everybody likes to wish everybody happy birthday on their social media. Sometimes we even have to share our address on social media websites. But also, big data likes to collect information about what we purchase and places we visit. And they use all of this kinds of information to create profiles about us. And it's kind of like being surveilled. We are under surveillance all the time. No matter what we click and what we search for, they're using this information. They break this information down into collecting the data, processing the data, and then using it to profile people. And I want to talk to you about the consequences of some of that collection. So some of the problems associated with big data collection are social inequalities and discrimination. And a lot of people don't know that the information that they're voluntarily giving up is collected and held indefinitely. Something that you may have volunteered 5 years ago may pop up and create something, some kind of consequence many years from now, because it's held indefinitely in a lot of cases. Sometimes there's just unintentional release of information that's very private into the hands of others, and they didn't intend for that to happen. They use a lot of this information for targeted advertising. So when you search for a certain style of shoe, and then all of a sudden it seems like you're getting lots of advertisements for that shoe. It's that targeted advertising coming from your searches. A lot of times, this information is gathered when you click on something to accept cookies. And they promise that the cookies that you're accepting are going to enhance what it is that you're about to receive. And so you click on accept. And once you've accepted that cookie, you are leaving behind a trace of your history, and they're starting to collect data from that moment on. The algorithms that big data uses takes all this information from these cookies and earlier searches that you have made to tailor your answers to your questions that you might Google, to give you what they think you might want. They're trying to give you what you want. For example, let's say an environmental activist Google's search about proof of climate change. They're going to get totally different information from their search for proof of climate change than perhaps an oil company executive might get. The oil company executive might get information that helps him prove that there is no environmental impact, and the activist would get more information about proof of climate change. So this bias is happening even with student searches. The inferences are made by researchers and advertisers and political campaigns and anyone else who purchases the data and wants to use it. Now, I would love to teach you and teach you how to tell your students to avoid these cookies and bypass them altogether so that things can't be learned about them. However, every time I found a website to teach me about how to get rid of cookies, I had to accept cookies to get the information, and I didn't click on the cookies, accept the cookies. So I don't know. I can't tell you. Maybe Jake D can later. I don't know how to bypass cookies and get to the information I want. All right. So now the second mistake we make is disregarding those terms of service agreements. They're getting a little tricky too. It used to just be click I accept. Now sometimes they put got it. You in really fine print, you accept these terms of services and you click got it. And then you got it, and they got you. That's how they get access to even more of your data. And I was looking into the summer, I saw this new network. It's called Peacock. Okay. And I saw this commercial, and I thought Peacock, and they kind of scrolled through all of the different shows that you could watch on Peacock. So I thought I'd like to sign up for that because it's free. Well, when I went to look into it, of course, there's the terms of service agreement. And since I was knee deep in this class, I thought, well, I'm going to click on the terms of service agreement first and make sure what I am accepting is okay, because all I want is free TV, because TV right now is very bad. So reading this terms of service agreement, and it took me a long time to go through it, I found things like subscription fees, prohibited actions. I was agreeing to share my information with third parties. I agreed not to sue the company. There were copyright information pages in there, and I would have had to agree to pay for services after a certain amount of time. And I found a chocolate cake recipe. That's the cake in the title of this presentation. There was a chocolate cake recipe, and a reporter from the TV Guide found it also and made it and reports that it's a very good chocolate cake recipe. Now, I think that maybe someone was putting that in there just to see if people actually do read the terms of agreement on things. So after reading the entire terms of agreement, I decided to skip having Peacock as one of my network providers. I did not agree to that. And since I took this class, I haven't agreed to anything. I have just simply decided, no, thank you. So that's the cake. And Nicholas Lepan, a researcher, actually looked at the terms of service agreements for 14 popular apps and found that it takes up to 30 minutes to read these terms of service agreements. And that's why people are not reading them, but they should. The third-party entities that you're agreeing to share the information with use your data in algorithms that make inferences that could affect future job positions, mortgages, insurance, and lead to discrimination and lots of biased demographic examples. For example, Twitter looks at your first name and assumes, based on the U.S. statistics of naming babies, which is a source. It's a source that has been kept up since 1881, listing the most popular baby names each year. Twitter can look at your first name and then compare that to the U.S. statistics of popularity of first names and estimate how old you are based on your first name. And they also use your preferences in music to estimate how old you are so that they can do targeted advertising for that age group. So just your name, just your music could be giving people a bias against you or racial or profile. Also, these big data companies, brokers, they're just putting enough information about you together just to sell to targeted advertisers. That's their goal, is to make money from advertisers. But unfortunately, that little bit of data is just enough to also contribute to racial profiling and discrimination and poor policing. So we're getting some of that backlash too. Many of us just randomly like things. We click like on a lot of different things. And this also, unbeknownst to you, leads to very highly personalized ads and a word called, I always mispronounce this, homophily, HOMOPHILY, which means that individuals who interact are similar in certain attributes like beliefs and education and social status. Okay, so this leads to our curly fry effect, which was also in the title. Curly fries. Here's the curly fries. Inferences are made about every like, and in their research report titled "Private Traits and Attributes Are Predictable from Digital Records of Human Behavior," Kaczynski, Stillwell, and Grappel revealed the best predictors of high intelligence include liking things such as, lost my folder, the Colbert Report, science, and curly fries. Whereas low intelligence was indicated by liking Sephora, I love being a mom, and Harley Davidson. I mean, no offense to you Harley Davidson lovers out there, but apparently if you like these items, you are associated by algorithms with other people who like the same things. That's homophilia at work. So evidently somebody who liked curly fries was found to be an intelligent person. And so all those people who are in agreement with that must also be smart people. I don't like curly fries. So what does that say about me? So anyway, so now that you know about how all of this big data is collected, I want to talk to you a little bit about filter bubbles and echo chambers. They sound fun, but they're not. Okay, filter bubbles and echo chambers are not a good thing. Zhao Mina said one time that the internet is the affirmation superhighway. We get affirmation from social media and the internet all the time. Sometimes it's a good thing, especially if you're a teenager and you post things and people like them. You feel better about yourself that you put this picture on there, or you share this cute little meme. That's, affirmation in a good way. However, when it comes to our research, we don't need all of that affirmation. And let me tell you why. Filter bubbles and echo chambers are sometimes terms used interchangeably, but they're two different things. Filter bubbles come from the algorithms that your social media platform generates, and you're not even aware of them. You're liking things and posting things and buying things and saying you're at this restaurant or this city and all of those things. You're just not even aware you're building this thing. Okay. So those are filter bubbles. Echo chambers are actually being created by the user as they search for information. And as they search for information, how they are searching for it is confirming their own opinions. And at the end of this little talk, I'll give you some information about, why that is happening so that you can show your students how this happens. When anyone joins a social media network, they create a profile. Everyone knows that. And the information in this profile starts to signal algorithms within the profile to generate other sites and other people and other products that this person might be interested in. We've all been there. You have Facebook. Here are other people you might like to be friends with. You click on something you want to buy on Amazon. Here are other products that you might like. And other people like you bought these at the same time as you, so that they can give you add-on suggestions and increase the amount of things that you're ordering, right? As the user starts to follow people they're interested in, as well as like posts that they agree with, these algorithms generate even more like-minded people and organizations to follow and purchase from. And this creates our filter bubble. We have this little bubble where everything that we disagree with is on the outside of the bubble, and all the people and the things that we agree with are inside the bubble with us. So we are affirmed that we are right, and those outside the bubble are wrong, because look at all this stuff I'm finding that agree with me. As someone makes searches through social media and Google sites, they're 70% more likely to search for information that they already have a positive opinion of. And this creates the echo chamber. When a social media user communicates a preference, the algorithms interpret every click, like, and send and provide responses back to the user. And the algorithm of social media platforms take on the role of the confirming communication partner that reassures and reinforces the information the user is using. The separation of users from contradictory information also helps gather like-minded people in similar communication spaces. And this only continues the belief that the user is correct and they're not alone. All these other people and all these other sites agree with them too. So it becomes this echo of, yes, look, I found this, I believe this, and so does this person. They like this, and so it's an echo chamber. So the question is, we're teachers. we need to tell our students about this so that they can find sites that will neither completely reinforce what the child thinks or completely oppose what they think, but give them a broad opinion, broad perspective on different ideas that they're researching. They need to understand that social media platforms are not impartial. They need to understand that algorithms help create the filter bubbles that keep other things out. And they need to ask themselves why they got the particular answer to a query on maybe Google or something, and they didn't get anything else. Let me give you an example of that. One day I asked them, what should voters understand about immigration in the 2020 election? So I asked them to put in a search, and I asked them what they use to search for their information. And here are some of the responses I got. Some kids put in the words illegal immigration. Some said we should stop illegal immigration. One person put immigration rules. Another 2 or 3 people put immigration laws. One person put Trump's view on immigration. One put Biden's view on immigration. One put, is illegal immigration a threat to the country? One put illegal immigrants. And one put the word immigration. Now, I want you to open your microphones and share with me which one of those you think probably got the least biased information provided.
The one who said immigration?
Yes, very good. We need to teach them, and that's what my handout is about. We need to teach them how to search and how to keep from having their searches sound biased from the get-go. I mean, when you say illegal immigration, or you say, should we stop it, or illegal immigrants, using certain adjectives will already provide them with biases. And so I'm just going to put this up here so we can kind of go through it. And I'm better. If you were with me yesterday, I'm getting better at this. Can you see that? Okay, thanks, Jennifer. All right, so this is the handout that I have for you. And this is the one that I'm giving the kids now, since I have all this information about algorithms. And I noticed too, JD was very helpful in the chat, and we'll go through some of JD's stuff here too, because I think he answered some of the questions that I have myself about how to avoid some of this. So let's start here, and then we'll move over to JD, and then I'm sure that there are some teachers here that are probably working on English classes that do a lot of research that might help out too, and share some more ideas. So you don't need to write this down, because this is something you can just click on the, I don't know what to call this Google thing that we have here. It's available. So try to get them down to the most important main idea first. Like I think Jennifer said, it's just immigration. Start with the word immigration. Try not to put any articles, prepositions, adjectives with this word, and see what you get. You'll get more .govs. You'll get more laws. When you just put in immigration. If you put in Trump's view or Biden's view, or should we stop this, you'll get a lot of .orgs, and you don't want that, okay? You get some blogs. we want them to get very academic searches. At Canterbury, we use inspire.in.gov. I think it's free. Your school might use it too. Always use the advanced search and try to find the full text, so the HTML full texts, so that you get the whole picture and not just a piece of the picture. Here's some databases too I've listed around our area. But with the internet, you can use from any area. When they're doing a Google search, I want them to use the scholar.google.com. This Kathy Schrock handout and website, this is actually a nice poster that you could print off. Does that show up? Oh, I can't see you though now. Open a mic and say if it shows up or not.
We're seeing a blank screen right now.
Oh, I'm gonna let you guys open that on your own time. Oh, now I've lost pictures of you. Just a minute. Oh, now I've got you back. Okay. So I want to go back to sharing that one. Hello. You're all back now. Okay. My window disappeared. Oh, there it is. Okay. I told you I was better than yesterday, but not much. Our school teaches on Zoom. And so ask me any questions about Zoom and I'm there. I'm good to go. I took a 3-day in-service in the summertime just about Zoom. I bought a book about Zoom and I can share and flip screens like no other. But this is a little bit. So this 5 W's of website evaluation, it's a nice little poster. So open that up. That's really nice. And then our school uses a lot of Purdue OWL stuff. And if you're not familiar with that, it's readable. It might be from Purdue, but it's at a level that freshmen in high school can read, and it provides lots of examples. So I have some of those links on that page for you too. And while you're at it, the Purdue OWL also has a really nice MLA formatting guide, and it has stuff for text citations and stuff that you can give them or post for them to use as examples. So anyway, that's it in a nutshell. Help them make good searches, teach them about how some of the things they're doing on social media and some of their searches are influencing what they're getting. And they should be getting some better searches. Let's take a look at what might be in the chat here. Incognito mode, but the internet runs on cookies. It is a much different experience without them. Okay, so JD, would you explain incognito mode and how to use that?
Sure, and Dylan actually posted using the do not track setting, but basically your browsers are set up so that they have ways that you can not be giving cookies, not be giving out your personal information, although there's some debate on whether location information is still going out because most of these aren't using, never mind. But there's, so like if you're in a Chrome browser and your school hasn't shut it off, if you click the 3 dots up at the top right corner of your Chrome browser, you'll have open a new window or open a new incognito window. When you open a new incognito window, all of the kids think that means that you can't see anything they're doing on the internet. That's not what it means at all. All it means is that all of your passwords, your accounts, your preferences, your search history are going to be completely ignored while you're in this window. And so it will only know what you put into it from that point. So if you're looking for an unbiased Google search, that's about the closest you get right now. Do not track mode in other browsers or in private window, I think is Edge's name for it, all do similar things. So it's a way to surf without cookies, but it does give you that different experience. Does that help?
Oh, very much. Thank you. Never even knew that existed up there. And I
If you want to
opened
really freak the kids out, tell them that the school can still see what they're doing in incognito windows, and they get really scared.
So the students know about this incognito window.
Yeah, they just don't know what it actually does.
Okay. Okay. So some other browsers have the do not track. Extensions such as Ghostery and uBlock Origin. Could you explain that, Dylan? Dylan didn't expect to be called on.
Yes, sorry, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, hi. Yeah, so essentially, I've used these in the past, and they are free extensions available in Firefox and Chrome at the very least. And what they do is they try to prevent a lot of the blocking services that websites use from even activating on these websites. That can lead to certain issues. As Judy alluded to, the internet is fundamentally based on being able to track and obtain and use your information. And certain websites can break when you use certain extensions like these to block that. But the breakage typically isn't that harmful, especially if you're using it for research purposes. So those are two extensions that can be really helpful in preventing advertising, tracking websites from getting information and then doing tailored, personalized results. There are also settings that you can enable in most phones. I know Samsung and Apple phones particularly have the ability to opt out of personalized ads and personalized experiences, as they call them. They target everything as an experience. So enabling those settings, if it says like enable this to opt out, or simply not agreeing to those terms of service, because it will usually say optional in parentheses, can prevent some of these issues as well.
Very good. Thank you very much.
Yeah, no problem.
Let's see here. Yes. The guy who did the study could have had a bias there, JD. I don't know. Potato cakes and latkes. Okay. We have the debaters and search keyword logs as they're doing research. What does that mean, JD?
So one of the things we teach in digital citizenship is that as you're starting to look at a topic, you write down all the words you wanted to search on. And then you write down, was it a good result, bad result, a biased result? And then as you're developing your question strategy, you continue to add to your search log. And then that way, when it comes time to review, was I getting unbiased information or not? And you're doing your peer review, then the kids can say, oh, well, when I look at this, you used totally different words than I did. So that search log gets them to start doing some reflections over how they're developing their own search strategies. And then we just carry that through in debate as well.
Okay. Let's see. Check your sources against the media's bias chart. Oh, we did look at that in class. That is really good. You guys should look at that. Yes. Very good. Okay. All right. Oh, do I have a half hour or an hour? I think I have an hour, but I don't need an hour. I think I told him I needed a half an hour. So you guys have anything else you want to share about your experiences with research and research bias, and maybe something you discovered that you could share with us that might help? Okay, then. I'm not going to keep you. It's time to get another cup of coffee. So thank you for joining my meeting. I really appreciate it. And you guys have a good rest of the day. Bye-bye. You're welcome. Thanks, JD.
Thank you. This was great. You did an awesome job.
Thank you.